Hello, hello, welcome to New Gameplay Today. I'm one of your hosts, Wesley LeBlanc. We are joined by Marcus Stewart. How are you doing?
I am doing great. I'm ready to sail the high seas.
Yeah, that's because we're checking out Skull and Bones today. Believe it or not, this is a real game, and I've played it. I've actually played it quite a bit, um, which is wild to me because I feel like I have been covering this game. Actually, I have been following this game long before my career in journalism began, which is wild.
Yeah, I think my first or second E3 was when Skull and Bones was announced, and I remember seeing playable boots for it at Ubisoft section. I didn't play it. I just watched people play it, and I've always regretted not playing it because during the time where it seemed like this game was not going to come out, I was like, man,
Yeah.
I should have played it just to say I played Skull and Bones. But I have played this since then in a recent like beta that they did because they've been doing a few of those over the last
Yeah.
few months.
Awesome. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I did our cover story for this game back in 2022, which it's rare that we do games and then like on a cover and then they don't come out for 2 more years these days, which is interesting. But like in my research, I found that like Game Informer was one of the first and only outlets to play it at that E3 or at least write about it. Like we have a full, I forget who did it, but there's like a full write up of what that E3 presentation and preview was like. And it's just fascinating to see how different and not different it is compared to this 2024 version of the game. Um, but yeah, so I took part in an in-game hands-on preview build. This is not like final review code. This is not anything like that. This is a virtual preview I attended with Ubisoft, and it was basically to show off not only in-game content but also like give a tease and a look at what players can expect in season one of the game. Because this is a live season game or a live service game, meaning that there's going to be seasons, lots of multiplayer content, plenty of free drops of, I guess what you'd call DLC and new enemies and loot and ships and all kind of stuff. They want to support this game for years, which I'm curious. You've played it and
Oh,
have covered this game for a while. Uh, oh, I should mention real quick too. I'm fighting a sea monster. That's what we're doing
yeah, I
here.
saw that. That's that. I've never seen that in the time that I played it. I was like, what is that that's coming up there? But okay.
Yeah, that is a primordial creature, which I'm going to be fighting here for about 5 to 10 minutes.
I don't
It's a fun
I,
fight.
I followed this game off and on. I don't think I knew that there were like mythical creatures involved in this. I feel like they've always just shown just like pirate ship battles and that's about
Yeah,
it, but not like, oh, there's krakens and stuff. Huh.
there's like ghost ships too. I didn't see
Oh,
any, but
so
like
there's
there's
supernatural
definitely
stuff in this game.
yeah, just like the real pirates.
Yeah, just like back then, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm curious. Like you've played it a bit and you've covered it for as long as we all have, which is feels like a decade at this point. Like, how do you feel about it being a live service game? Because for me personally, like I'm actually enjoying a lot of what I'm playing of Skull and Bones, but like my dream pirate game is a single player like action adventure. So this is like quite a different take on piracy for me in games.
Yeah, I mean, I've generally liked what I played. Like, it's from when I played the beta, I was like, okay, this is a competent video game. Like, it doesn't feel
Yeah,
janky. It's a lot more arcadey than something like, say, Sea of Thieves. Like, you're just sort of steering. I think I made this comparison on the GI show actually, where it's like it's more or less a car combat game if you control
yeah, yeah,
pirate ships. Like, imagine Twisted Metal but pirate ships because you're just steering a vehicle essentially, and you're just going around shooting weapons at other ships with guns until everyone that's not you blows up. and, then,
yeah,
and then imagine if that was just in a big open world with islands and stuff that you can land on. So, but it's like there's the car combat fan in me that kind of like likes and like respects that approach. As far as it being like a live service thing, it's hard to say. I didn't get a. It's hard to get a sense of like how the live service elements would either add or detract from the game when you're playing a preview
hmm
build. You know.
yeah,
So
yeah,
like progression in terms of like I don't know if they're doing a battle pass. I would assume that they are, or any of that
hmm
stuff. Like I just don't really have a handle on how that feels yet. I don't think in general, like I know live service games get a bad rap, and deservedly so in some cases, but I don't think they're inherently bad. Like I think there's some games that do it pretty well. but it's always like it's a red flag for a reason, right? Like there's been
Yeah.
numerous examples of like just bad live service games, and especially if it's a game where it doesn't seem like it needs it, which it's hard to say if this game feels like it fits. Like I get what they're going for because there is like multiplayer to it too.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those sort of wait and see kind of things, but it's definitely, I can understand why it wouldn't exactly inspire you to run out and buy it immediately if you hear those dreaded words.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of multiplayer, you can see that I'm playing with like 5 or 6 other players. Some are like Ubisoft representatives, and then I think I'm playing with 1 or 2 other like actual previewers. But yeah, as you can see, like this primordial creature, which is like a whatever that dinosaur is in Jurassic World in the aquarium tank. It's
Oh yeah.
Mosasaurus, maybe. I think my 8-year-old nephew would be extremely disappointed in me.
I remember, I think I called it, it ate that one lady that got tortured really bad, a source.
Yes, yeah, that's the one. That's basically kind of what I'm fighting here, and you can see that it's not something you can do alone. I mean, I suppose you could if you're really good at staying alive, but I'm having to go into those yellow like markers. That's a teammate targeting me with like healing cannons, kind of, which is weird. But I mean, what are you gonna do? You got to heal teammates somehow.
Right.
And that's
It's
like
a-
essential to staying alive. And then also damage you get. My single ship is not doing a ton of damage. You definitely need like 5 or 6 others shooting at it.
So are you guys all working together to slay this things? It looked like they were shooting at you too. Like, is it a free for all or what's?
Yeah, so I'm in like a party with some of them. So we are working together, and we can't really hurt each other. I don't think it wasn't super clear on friendly fire. Sometimes there is, and sometimes there's not. I don't think there is in this kind of situation. However, I might have other teammates not in my party who are just teammates because they're also trying to take down this primordial creature. But at all times, there is PvP VE. So while we're fighting this monster, I could be a not nice pirate and also just start targeting the other players who are not on my like actual party.
I'm gonna use it as a distraction.
Exactly, and that's important because the primordial creature drops one. Like this quest is basically asking you to get its head and bring it to these specific merchants who want the head of this creature. And when you defeat it, it only drops one. The people in your party, I think, would get the benefits of it. But if you're not in my party, even if you helped me take it down, if I'm the one that got away with it, I'm boogieing out ASAP because you can come after me and take it from me. Which
Yeah, I was gonna
you
say,
might
like,
want to
you
do.
can still lose it even if you get it.
Yeah, because so far, I shouldn't say every, I don't know because I haven't played the final game, but a lot of these, and we just defeated it, and you can see I'm getting the Zamaharibu head. A lot of these enemies, like, you defeat them, and then there's another part of the quest to kind of finish it, which is like, go bring it to this merchant or go check in at this outpost. And I think that is the part of the game where you need to be extra careful because not only will everyone on the map see that I have this and that I'm a target, but they can also come after me. So that's why I assume why it's important to play with party people because you don't want to just get this head and try to travel alone, only to lose it right there before you get to the outpost.
Right. Was that that monster? Was that like a story quest, or is that like one of like a recurring sort of like live event thing of like, oh, there's a monster coming in an hour, you better go get it?
Yeah, so that one was a quest that I picked up specifically, like a bounty basically, but it is also a live public event, I guess is what you would call it. I think Destiny and World of Warcraft kind of helped coin those terms. But yeah, it's one of those world events that happens and anyone in the world can see it happening on the map and go join in. I
Okay.
just also happen to have a bounty to get its head. And speaking of world events, now we are in not only an in-game event, which is what this whole preview was about, but this is specific to Skull and Bones' first season. So throughout the first season, you're going to be trying to achieve Kingpin status, which is kind of where you're like one of the top pirates in the sea, and like I guess where the end game begins for you. Because Lepest is I think his name's Philippe Lepest. He is like the boss pirate of season 1, and you need to first get his attention by like doing specific quests, taking down outposts, all that kind of stuff, and then he'll actually fight you in the seas, which is what we are doing right now. This is not the final event of his season, I believe there's like one more that happens after this that I didn't get to see, but this is one of the main hurrahs of season 1 is attacking Lepest, who is a like poison-based kingpin fighter.
You can tell because his ship is green.
Yeah,
It means poison.
lots of poison. I
So
actually
wait, if he's like, is he poisoning the crew? Well, he's not poisoning the ship itself, because that wouldn't make sense, right?
well, Marcus, I think you're asking too many questions there.
I could say like, what's the point of shooting like poison cannons at like wood?
Yeah, yeah, I think maybe the crew's getting sick, so they're performing less well. I'm not sure.
Let's say that. Yeah, they're all just
yeah.
puking on the deck, and yeah.
Yeah, so you can see that I died, but I can respawn right to see and kind of just get right back into the action.
Oh, is that your ship, the Vindictive?
Yeah, it was one of the nameplates I could pick. I didn't get to.
Okay.
Here's the thing that we don't talk about enough. When you're in a preview and you've got like people at the company that are helping you through it, and then you get to the point where you have to like name your ship. I don't want to name it in front of them. You know, I gotta spend some time figuring out my pirate name ship.
Because you
and
would
what I wanna call it.
pick a dirty name or what, like an embarrassing name? Is that?
I don't know, maybe like probably something from Pirates of the Caribbean, and then that's like so on the nose, and then they'll probably say something about it, and I'll be embarrassed. So I
You
would
don't be judged by Ubisoft.
yeah, I just went with one of the base names that they added,
Yeah.
which is
Did you
Vindictive.
Did you get to pick your pet? You had a lemur there.
I did. I think I bought the lemur. I think there's like monkeys and birds as well, but I liked the lemur.
I mean, yeah,
because
that's
of
pretty big.
Sabumafu.
Sabuma? Wait, who's that?
You've never watched Sabumafu? I think it's what it's called.
It's a movie?
It's like a early or late 90s, maybe early 2000s kids television show. It's like the two hosts had lemurs
Oh, I wasn't
and
a
other
kid.
animals.
Yeah, I was a little bit of an older person by 2000. An older
Too
kid.
cool for Sabumafu.
I guess I was.
You were playing
I was
PS1.
watching Gullah Gullah Island as a kid, so if they have
Oh.
a big bullfrog, then I can get down with that.
Nice.
Okay.
But yeah, so I guess I should probably talk a bit about Lepest, because I actually do think this is a cool in-game event. Specifically, I was just surprised at how they are taking different mechanics from this genre of games, like shooters, arcade type stuff, third person action, all that kind of stuff, and putting it into like a pirate ship game. Because I'm like, all right, I'm fighting this boss. What's he gonna do? He's just gonna fire cannons, which it's what he's doing. But if you watch, he's using like a lot of almost MMO-esque moves that I don't think pirate ships can actually do, but this is a video game, so it can do. It has one specifically where it puts green targets all around, like in a circle around him,
Yeah.
and it like poisons everywhere it hits. So you kind of have to stay out or coast in and out of those lines and those circles so that you don't get hit. And it just like really surprised me how well they like made these pirate ship fights more than just two ships shooting at each other, I guess.
Yeah, like he's got like a pattern to him than just like stand in a straight line and shoot each other.
Exactly, yeah. Because, I mean, this is the soul of this game is Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, which is kind of where Ubisoft really honed in on this naval ship mechanics that they introduced in Assassin's Creed 3. And in that game, you are just kind of like side by side shooting at ships, and there's not anything fantastical going on like we're seeing here. And I guess it makes sense that like more than a decade later, they have figured out something really cool. This is that move I'm talking about right here. And I
Yeah,
did
you're
not
right,
do
right
well.
in it. Yeah.
But I braced, so let's see actually.
That means they're less
Okay,
poisoned. They
Yeah,
all held their
you take-
breaths.
Yeah, exactly. They put on the gas masks.
Yeah,
they
it
take
kind of looks
less
like he's
damage.
shooting the green fire from season 2 of Game of Thrones in the big naval battle.
Yeah. But yeah, this is kind of a look at what you can expect in the end game of Skull and Bones. Again, I did a bunch of other stuff that I'll briefly mention. There's like heists you can perform and specific battles where you basically have to stay inside of a target area and do as much damage as possible without leaving. There's a lot of cool different in-game stuff happening. I still have my qualms with it just because it's hard to see, like you mentioned, how all of this connects as like a live service game, especially just being thrown right into the end game. But I'm admittedly impressed so far with Skull and Bones and its in-game content. Not just because it's a game I wasn't even sure would ever come out, but the fact that it is coming out and is like competent and fun is I don't know, surprising to me, and I'm all for it as Game Informer's resident pirate lover.
Yeah, and I love Pirates too, and like it's definitely competent, and like you said, it's entertaining in like the short burst I've played it. I'm just most curious about when it launches, how that experience holds up over like a longer kind of singular adventure, you know?
Yeah, that's always the question with live service, and it's so hard to judge, not only in just a preview, but even around the game's launch. Like live service really doesn't kind of unfold until months later sometimes. So I'm looking forward to tracking how this game performs over 2024 and what they have up their sleeves after season one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna do us for today. Thanks so much for joining us on this Skull and Bones NGT, Marcus.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, bye everyone.